Hey down, please, it's Dave Desai. Today I want to get into RM talking about and finally addressing the orientation of the boys and what happened with that and why some people are mad. I also want to get into China banning Jennie and what happened there. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Red Dumpling, Teespilling book merch, and let's get into it. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is China banning people, specifically idols. And I wanted to get into Jennie from Blackpink because she is in some big trouble right now. But before we do, let me give some backstory on what is going on. It's so weird. While I have a lot of respect for China and their people, I think sometimes this loving your country thing that Chinese netizens like to constantly promote can get out of line at times and hurt people. Loving your country is one thing. Believing that you're the only country that matters is another thing, because other countries have influence too, and some bigger. Chinese netizens like to believe that they're the cause of a certain idol or certain celebrity's success, and that without these netizens, the celebrity will lose all of their followers. We have Chinese celebrities that are very well known, but we don't have ones that have come from China's entertainment market, and those who do are significantly smaller names or would be bigger names if they branched into an American market. And this isn't to bash China, it's to say no nation on their own has all the power. It's not true. The Olympics is a sign of a country's patriotism. Players go out representing their country, and typically if you are the race of one of the players, you would probably root for that player to represent your country. One of the players, Hwang Dae-hyun, mentioned somewhere that Jennie, I guess, had privately congratulated him. Fans believe it could have been a DM, or maybe she was watching the Olympics live in the arena. People were very upset. First off, RM had even congratulated Hwang too, and also got a ton of backlash on the BTS account over claims of hating China and all that. So it was no surprise that Jennie might receive some of that same backlash. When Hwang mentioned Jennie's support, and maybe likely this was a reason she did not publicly post about it, because patriotism and all that is controversial. So she maybe kept it more private. There's many possibilities of how Jennie congratulated him. It could have been she was at the Olympics and he came up to her and she congratulated him. Or maybe she was friends with him or friends with his friends, and so she just congratulated him like with her friend. But Hwang isn't going to mention those other friends because we may not know who they are, or they may not even be famous people. And then other theories of maybe Jennie did reach out and send a DM, but that is not a bad thing either. If she was sitting there watching the Olympics, of course she would root for her own country. How come the US is not mad that Jennie didn't root for the US? Because why would you be mad at that? She is not American. She's actually kind of a New Zealander, so why aren't those people mad? I actually don't know if they play. But the comments that were on Jennie's Instagram and the hate was intense. People are banning her from China. People saying they won't support her anymore. Just really the grossest thing. How can you send this to someone? Did some of these netizens forget that Jennie is not Korean? It doesn't make any sense to me at all why this is even hate that exists. Like, at this point, you're just looking to hate on something. K-pop idols are in such a weird position. While they are going to get hate within their own race, within their own Asian race, because there's a lot of internalized racism. But then also she is going to get hate because people internationally will perpetuate the same quote-unquote problems. Like, for example, just because dating is taboo in Korea does not mean it's taboo to talk about here in America. Don't blindly follow the hate trains because they weren't correctly established to begin with. Listen to yourself. If you don't believe dating is a bad thing, then don't be the one telling people to shut up and not talk about it. I personally really hope that BTS will find happiness in whatever form or way they choose to find happiness. We can't know the orientation of the members 100%, but I can tell you they don't have anything against gay people, possibly being gay or anything like that. They have shown several signs in the past of them on stage carrying the pride flag and supporting that. They have worn pride colors. People chalk this up to, oh, they're Korean, they may not know what it means and they're just wearing it. And this thought comes from people who say if BTS was gay, they would unstand. And those people believe BTS is not only not gay, but they do not support gay people. And BTS members have no idea what the pride flag and colors mean. And if they did, they wouldn't wear it on stage. Korea also has pride flags. It's a smaller and niche group of people. It's not the mainstream people there, but the group of LGBT people who are loud and open about it are loud and open about it. But also, like, how dumb do you believe the members are? Like, they have no idea or have never seen a pride flag. They don't live under a rock. They're well traveled. And for one, RM reads a lot of books. And secondly, if they were literally living under a rock, you probably wouldn't like them as much because they wouldn't think to shave or cut their hair or dye their hair or even wear the trendy, fashionable things. Because people living under a rock do not participate in looking trendy and fresh. It was previously seen that RM had addressed some of the gay comments and talked about kind of what the boys were doing during their press for the Love Yourself era. etc. There was an interview that asked a great question about the album, and if you don't know, the songs in that album and the message were trying to teach this idea of learning to love yourself and finding that love within. The interview asked what true love meant to all the members, which is kind of a indirect way of talking about dating, but the interviewer didn't really go in that direction. They were kind of referring to the more self-love thing. But RM actually answered this one to say that oftentimes the boys are lonely and think that they want boyfriends and girlfriends, but ultimately they need to find love within themselves. If this answer is already kind of shocking to you, hold on, we will discuss. But the interviewer continued and asked about the boyfriend and girlfriend and saying that, does BTS even have time to date? And Suga took this question, and I don't know if he understood the question, but he completely did not answer the question. He ignored it and answered that the members need to find this love within themselves, which is something we can all work on. There's very few people in the world that just love themselves. But this was interesting because I think people were surprised that RM said boyfriend and not just girlfriend, because he could have literally just said girlfriend. Personally, if I was around a group of 6 straight friends, I would never refer to them dating men or having boyfriends. I would say, if you get a girlfriend, ... especially since there was no way they would have ever talked about dating men. RM's next line was that the members talked about how lonely they are, sometimes for not dating. So the members discussed dating in their private time, and maybe this is where the idea that the members might get boyfriends would come from. RM likely has had these conversations, and if a member was like, oh, I would prefer to try dating men, then RM would think, okay, so maybe this one wants a boyfriend. And of course, there's theories of members dating each other, which could be likely or whatever it is. The members also haven't dated much and maybe never got a chance to explore what they may or may not actually like. I know straight men who have dated men and were like, this is not for them. But if the members of BTS never got a chance to try it, they don't know. But there's a few theories I have. I think while this is all possible, I think RM was trying to say something different. I believe he was saying having a relationship like boyfriend and girlfriend, meaning they're the boyfriend looking for a girlfriend. I don't think he was referring to boyfriend specifically, but that is my theory. It's very possible he could have been. I just like to also review the other side, as it is also a possibility and it's fair to see both. This also goes to show that the members would like to date and consider that something that they really want to do, meaning that they end up dating or whatever it is, we definitely need to support them and show them love for doing so, whether that is with a man or a woman. Other people hate this idea of the members being gay so much that they would prefer BTS disband or members removed if they were gay. And this is frustrating. I don't think we have had a gay boy band or even that many members that ended up being gay in a boy band. There's always rumors, but I think there was nothing confirmed, but I could be wrong. This idea that the members could be open about being gay is a beautiful thing. If you're someone who would unstand because of something that the boys can't help, like if they were gay, now they just have to pretend to be straight, is that really a life you want someone who you supposedly care about? Even if you're against this type of marriage and dating, wouldn't you want them to be happy? You can think that being gay is a sin or whatever you want, but everyone sins at the end of the day. You'd be choosing which sin you prefer of them, but then saying being gay is not a sin you prefer. You don't get to choose the sin you prefer. You either hate everyone or you hate no one, and if it's for religious reasons and you believe God told you not to be gay, then let God handle it. God also told you not to hate people, so love gay people and let them quote unquote sin and let God deal with them. Watch God do nothing because God doesn't care. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Bye.